LYON team can take down a top Eastern team, a #2 team in the world, in fact, they will deserve all the credit.
True.
But it's a long shot.
Okay, but you're not going to rug pull me and say the Eastern team is top esports when you're talking about G2, right?
Why are we even talking about the East? G2 are the greatest Western team of all time
Guys,
in League of Legends.
Is this no, stop.
Undeniable.
They're literally the best.
Guys, this is some it all starts with success voodoo.
Okay.
You need to take it down a notch. LYON are also a good team. Let's not count the
Tell me more.
the chickens before they hatch.
Tell me why
Dhokla
LYON is
BB,
good.
it's going to be a banger. Saint very good mechanically, as is Berserker. Inspired, look, took down SkewMond well at MSI last year. Worlds we kind of gloss over, given that FlyQuest was falling apart, but that's a different story for a different time. As we get into picks and bans, big eyes are naturally going to be shifting towards the top side of the map because BrokenBlade and his counter picks were the center of the story around G2 upsetting T1 in that series.
And their draft plan in the T1 series, I think, was exceptional and was also consistent. They kept the same 3 bans in all 4 games of that series. It was Jace, Vi, and Orianna. They keep the Jace ban for Dhokla, who's good at Jace, but I will be curious to see how that stays consistent throughout the match.
Are they going to leave Orianna up with just banning the Fury and Nocturne off the table? I mean, they're hesitating quite a while on this last ban. And Orianna has been devastating at the tournament. Still very early on in the series as well, so.
I'll say that if they leave it up, I think Saint just goes Cassio. It's a matchup that they've been pretty willing to take against other teams. Now I remember that back from NA Finals when they did that against Quid, who's not the strongest Orianna. Caps is one of the best Oriannas ever, and it's actually ignored for now, and that would be an exceptional Orianna combo, and it's a good pick into Orianna. So very interesting first pick.
They're putting the pressure back on LYON now. Now they're like, okay, if you want to pick the Orianna, we have one of the champions that is best at punishing low mobility carries. Or Jarvan, perfect Cataclysm options there. And if you don't pick it, as you said, very good synergy with the champion as well. So nice little move here from G2 to get a pivot point with the Jarvan.
And now kind of avoiding the issue by just saying, hey, we're going to slam Ezreal and perhaps a jungler as well. Let the mid pick go later and later, prioritizing mobility to get around the Jarvan rather than worrying about securing a very contested mid lane champ.
And we'll see how traditional the bot lane picks stay in this series. I know this has been a very mage-heavy MSI meta, but Hans Sama, not a great mage player historically. Berserker has looked good on Ziggs, but otherwise great on 80 carries. And LYON stays very standard here. The Ezreal good into Jarvan, the Zenith standard counter matchup, and the Orianna game of chicken continues.
Yeah, let's see. Is Saint thinking, oh, I'm going to play Ari or Yone or something else into it? With a Kali ban, like that's the go-to one where you put lots of pressure onto the Orianna, but there are other possible options for him in his pool, and inspired with the Xin is going to look for the early scraps. So the early Anivia pick here, okay. It's still flexible.
Doesn't tell you anything.
Caps is very good at it. They could put it top. They could still put it bottom, even though we haven't done support Anivia in a while. And so now we're looking at top for sure.
That tells us a little bit more. So it could still technically be support Anivia if they really want to get spicy, but it's probably Anivia top and Orianna mid.
That's too spicy. I would just like to say, as the G2 representative of this cast, that's too spicy. No Anivia. Keep the Anivia out of the bottom
support?
lane. No, please, no.
Still, the thing I care about more is how are they going to punish this Orianna that they have left up and let paired with a Jarvan here.
Yeah.
So, number one, they're going to pick up the Bard here before...
Okay.
I don't know. The Bard would be quite good at trying to get through Orianna Flash and put kill pressure on her, but they want the strong poke lane here with the Karma Ezreal.
And really what LYON are saying is, hey, we're going to set up our 2v2 so well, we can ban away anything else that can stop us. And the cost is, you now have this Orianna that's going to be tough to contend with in terms of composition, and some of the options that Dhokla might have into this Anivia, which is expected to go top, may get whittled away by G2, making his job that much harder.
And they're kind of daring G2 to play a mage bottom lane because it doesn't fit within the current composition. Like Anivia Orianna is already a lot of magic damage. They have to play an 80 bot lane. Back when we were in the kind of 2v2 range support meta, I'd say in split one during first stand, Ezreal Karma, that was the king combo of that bot lane meta, and Isles Karma, he was on the train before others. So this is a very, very comfortable first 3 picks for LYON here in this game 1.
And I am definitely not expecting G2 to do any mages bottom lane. They already have so much AP.
They just can't do it. It doesn't
0% chance that it happens. Plus, Hansama has also not, invested very heavily in those types of champions. So I do like the Bard ban and trying to take away from possible Bard Caitlyn combination.
Yeah.
Limiting the potential to have a champion like Bard who can kind of match some of Karma's early levels, but also can just get really active on the map. A comfortable pick for Labrov too. Do G2 want to match a range support option? Are they willing to concede the bot lane 2v2 just so that Labrov can maybe play something with a bit more engage? Nautilus going to get taken away. Again, I think the most standard, most reliable engage support. Pretty much, it feels like forever. Maybe dropped out of the meta once or twice, but that's the priority. G2 now get one final ban here to maybe limit what Dhokla can bring out up against BrokenBlade. They already took the Gnar away, which was one of his best individual performers in their previous series.
Yeah, and a lot of the top laners, have been so frustrated with Anivia top because they're like, well, there's not really something where you're going to pick and you're going to win. So you pick and you have these other options like the Gnar and like the Cassante where you're still going to be useful to your team and not lose too much is kind of the goal there. So let's see what LYON decide to reveal first here. I mean, I'm still on the edge of my seat for this answer into the Orianna from Saint. Again, he has all these options for looking for pressure. They had the Xin early, so they want to see if they can add on one of the Saint specials. He is very good, Dracos. This is a very, very good champion for Saint. He has had some all-star plays with it, and it got buffed since he had some really big carry performances in the LCS with it.
Agreed, but the ego here is insane. Like, to give over Ori in game one, say, we don't care what you ban in phase two. They end up not throwing any bans because G2 is so comfortable with the Orianna matchup, and he picks it with, like, not even incredible ults so far. And they'll probably go into Ashe Seraphine, which will be good ults. Yeah,
I mean, it's going to depend a lot around how much pressure they can have mid. I mean, that's interesting because I know Berserker and Niles are very comfortable in the Ezreal Karma matchup into Ashe Seraphine specifically, and they've been able to get the push, land all their poke, and try and get that advantage early on over the Ashe Seraphine. But the G2 comp scales like an absolute freaking monster death ball. This is a crazy death ball team. And it's going to depend a lot on can LYON get their pressure points on these lanes, mid and bottom specifically. I want to see how Inspired controls the jungle to be able to affect the mid and the bottom lane. Because if not, I am very, very scared of the G2 ball comp.
My skepticism is high at the moment because I don't see the Sylas or the Renekton getting push in either of those solo lanes. So everything will fall on that bottom lane, and Inspired is going to have to find some way to get his solo lanes out of jail in an early skirmish.
But the story of the tournament thus far for LYON, the last series felt like a team effort, but a lot of series before that, it was Inspired and Berserker back-to-back holding the line, making those wins come together. But as you've highlighted, the good news is that early Sylas pick, or that late Sylas 4, did set up to punish some of these ultis from G2. There are some decent options for Saint, but the early stages are going to be tough. If you get ahead with this LYON comp, you can no doubt take over the map. You highlighted it so well, Kobe. If we go late, if G2 get to scale, if you have to fight into them, God forbid, it feels like an impossible task.
And the early jungle passes around mid lane can affect it so heavily, because even if you don't kill the Sylas, if you pass through and you chunk him or you get a summoner spell, Sylas has to lane by trading his health at all times, and so it makes it very difficult then to continue to keep your CS up and continue to be able to lane. So we'll see if there are early jungle presences near the bottom triangle of the map. And if there are early jungle focus on the bottom half, that leaves Anivia alone versus Renata, chat.
I mean, it's not great, Kobe.
We'll see.
My anxiety is high, but my hope is also medium. Dracos, how are you feeling?
My anxiety is also incredibly high, and my hope is also medium. I predicted 5-0 in anticipation of any bugs or potential remakes, but at the same time, there was one day, it was HLE versus BLG, or HLE versus G2, it looked bad. There's one day that was really good, but those were both just single days. There's not an overall consistent trend of dominance, and I wish there was.
First damage?
To secure comfort. But I'm going to take this for now. First blood, first little bit of trade. Technically not first blood, just first little hit.
First damage.
First damage. First damage and bot traded back. It's an even game.
And that was a big chunk out of Dhokla health bar. I mean, honestly, the full electrocute trade from BrokenBlade, really nicely done from him in the brush. So already getting health advantage here over Renekton. And Renekton wants to try and build up some fury off of that wave too to be able to operate, but we'll see how they go, because bottom lane is supposed to be our pushing lane, and it depends a lot on do you land your skill shots against the Ashe and Seraphine.
And currently both junglers are pathing top to bot lane to see if either side can get a really big amount of chunk damage. Dhokla is going to be in pain for a lot of this lane phase. You almost need to find a window to gank to make that lane better. Otherwise, Dhokla's going to have a really tough time.
Yeah, the thing is, I think you have to tell him, Dhokla, you're going to have a tough time.
I mean, is he already dead?
He's getting walked down now. Went in for a bit of extra healing off the Cold of Meek. Slice and Dice already used, but BrokenBlade long cooldowns, but a lot of auto attacks for free when the Renekton is forced to back away.
Because at least for me, the vision to win the game for Lion is around the mid lane and the bottom lane. And so sometimes you just have to tell Dhokla, hey, it's going to be a tough time. But we'll see. We'll see if they actually invest because it's a tough time already.
Level 3 does make things a bit better, but obviously there's a reason we're so excited about this matchup, and it is not only natural regional rivalries over the year.
We're going back.
But the constant back and forth, the absolute destruction of hope for one region or another. We're always vying to take down the LCK or LPL. In pursuit of that, we're usually knocking each other out of tournaments.
Why are we only including the EU wins?
These are painful years.
Yeah.
The early years were very bad for us.
Hey, we found one.
We found one, yeah.
We found one.
The EU early years were bad, chat. There's not good tape from the early years, my guy. I'm sorry
It has
to say.
been trending upwards. Another one. Look at this.
Good one.
Oh my God, the memory lane
On
here.
Independence Day, the graphics are devious. That is...
Dude, we even skipped a lot of the number 2 seed stuff that was happening, or even the Worlds playing, but there were so many giant moments back then. I mean, even the first one, Hans Sama on that Misfits team were considered such underdogs against that 2017 TSM team. And that's when TSM decided they had to go all in on Sven and Mithy, and I mean, it changed the outlook of LoL Esports history, actually, the beginning of these rivalries. So
the course of our lives altered, honestly.
And it goes even further back. Like my first NAEU memory, I mean, Kobe beat EU at WCG 2010.
2010, baby.
Yeah, that was 16 years ago. So we did start good. They skipped that.
You did. You guys did. I don't remember any of that, but good for you guys. Staying strong. Who won Season 1 Worlds, by the way? I can't remember.
I do want to focus on the game because we're going to get our first gank, and their ping's in mid, and they're going to go mid. Uh-oh.
Already used the abscond. Q flash. SkewMond thought he had the angle just to finish him off, but a nice response comes out from Saint. A bit of an overestimation of his individual damage.
Yeah, I mean, big mind game there, right? Because SkewMond could have EQ'd and flash followed, but he was trying to not commit to the turret completely. Saint able to get his life out of there. I mean, Saint had actually died to an early gank in multiple games last series, so I think really fortunate he's able to survive that one.
And that was one of the early steps that we brought up from Champion Select. Can you get an early gank pass through mid to take away some cooldowns from Sylas? And they do trade their flash. It is worth for jungler to trade their flash with the Sylas mid, because now Sylas is going to have to call for jungle support to get vision around his lane. Playing into the Orianna without vision around you would be very, very difficult, and so I do like that Isles on his first reset there for the Karma went immediately get the control ward and get the vision through River.
An opportunity now for the next few minutes to maybe capitalize on that missing summoner spell in the mid lane, especially as Caps gets closer to level 6. SkewMond, as well as Inspired, both really just ticking over to level 5, so it's going to be a bit more time before we get those jungler ultis online and available. Similar story for top, though, where Dhokla has done pretty well for himself. BrokenBlade trying to set up a bit of a freeze here, but once you get past those first 3-4 levels, you're not winning the lane, but at least you can step up, get some CS, and threaten a little bit. We're getting stunned there, and the electrocute means that level 6, the dominance, is going to do some work. Getting it ahead of schedule, ahead of BrokenBlade is very big, but not enough to immediately shift the lane.
The second win in the Doran's Shield have done massive work for Dhokla up there, and I'd say Saint spent a lot of his health and his flash to stay even in CS with Caps. This feels like a bit of an early Drake start at the time, but it's a great timing because Saint had already teleported back to have the initial mid push, and the bot lane, because they prioritized this Ezreal Karma so much, that's exceptional, Kobe, to be able to get this first Drake.
Yeah, our bottom triangle is going pretty well. We do have to still be cautious around this flash timer from Saint. That is an area to punish, and SkewMond is making another visit from his side where he has the control ward. But honestly, with Scuttle Crab spawning on that top side too, I think he maybe does a little wrap around here. Now they're going to test Dhokla. Looks like he actually cancels it, and they're going to secure the Crab first. Get that level 6 for the Jarvan. When you have Cataclysm, then you for sure return to that mid lane and see if you can get some more out of Sylas.
Root connecting. Exchange for a root as Ashe already had procced the slow onto Isles, but neither side able to find 100-0 all in. And of course, Berserker packing the cleanse means it's going to be tough to find kill pressure in the isolated 2v2 here in bottom lane.
This is a pace of game that LYON is very comfortable with. I'd say when they were at their best in the LCS, they had the types of games where they just make sure their farm stays up, they keep the goal close. There'd actually be a bunch of games, even against the mid-tier competition, where they would give over early Drakes just to keep the gold even, because by far and away the strength of this LYON team is their late-game team fighting. So they're probably quite happy with how these first 6 minutes have gone.
Dominus burn top lane, Ruthless Predator to keep the stun going. BrokenBlade, the ulti, finds the slow, trying to keep Dhokla in that trade, but a very positive trade from Dhokla as we see a potential 2v2 breaking out in the bottom lane. So a lot of posturing, a lot of cooldowns traded for lane priority, but nobody has died yet. It was, importantly, the fastest first strike of MSI 26 so far. So
very important, really good. I like that stat.
Nice stat, appreciate it. We had Caps on the desk after his T1 series, and he talked a bit about the scrim set they played against LYON. He said that was extremely bloody, a bunch of remakes, the opposite of what we're seeing here.
Roam from Saint.
Nice angle to connect on Labrov. Hansom's going to need to body block a bit here, but Saint's already on the way in. Good sidestep on the Hipscond of Duct. Flash out from Labrov. Arrow body blocked by Berserker. Both sides somehow walking away.
Okay, so it is cleanse and heal for flash and heal off of Labrov, and with the roam timer there from Saint used to get the extra summoner spell. See about that dragon, because the summoners for Labrov, at least the flash, won't be up for that big team fight. And we have seen Seraphine ult flashes have been crazy in turning some of these dragon fights. So maybe LYON will get to keep their dragon stacking going.
And we do see the Grub's about to spawn, already reset, potentially a look towards the top side of the map. Berserker is still going to go bot, but Isles is at least posturing up there. And crucially, Isles level 6, not big for Karma. But what is important is that Labrov is not level 6. We'll make it that much harder if they want to try and contest.
And Labrov, even without his flash, feels confident to go up to the Raptor Pit to get that ward. And they're pinging. They're tracking because of the camps that they saw down already. That Inspired is on the bomb side of the map, so they feel confident. He's re-clearing, and they can get the setup for themselves onto Grubs. So I think that is G2's. They're going to secure that one for sure.
Yeah, giving it away, and Inspired's going to try and take a little bit of pressure on the bottom side here. So using this timer to maybe try and cut Labrov off, or at the very least, clear this vision.
Han's trying to backstep, gets away from the wind, becomes lightning. Root does not hit.
Hans he did use his barrier there.
Hansama, no arrow. They're immediately just going to follow up. Instantaneous Crescent Guard. The ulti comes in from Labrov. It's just a little bit short. LYON, clean, effortless dive. Follow-up ulti coming in from Berserker. Just a bit of chip damage, but ultimately first blood to LYON.
The calculation from LYON. You go for Grubs, we go for cross-map play. Now Dhokla's under attack, though. He should know his weak side.
Wall coming in behind. No way to escape, no slice and dice, but still chasing down BrokenBlade. BrokenBlade has to be careful here. Dhokla hoping he can flash out to safety, gets him a little bit closer, but BrokenBlade takes him down.
Good cross map by SkewMond. You could see Dhokla couldn't quite get the wave all the way in, and it was really good timing for SkewMond to trap Dhokla before he could get back to his turret.
Yeah, Dhokla on the weak side up there. When LYON had made all these calculations and these calls, hey, they're doing Grubs, so let's go dive bottom side. Let's punish there, and they successfully pull off the play. But Dhokla at the same time wanted to egg BrokenBlade, and so he ends up trading flashes there. Does not get the egg because SkewMond had extra stuff to do it, just taking Grubs up there.
There's got to be an element of baiting there for BrokenBlade, right? Dhokla's been in this difficult lane this entire time. He finally sees a window to get a really good trade and maybe get a bit of an upper hand in the lane, and it ends up backfiring.
And honestly, since we are coming out of such good series from both these top laners, look at how big Dokes was in the previous series and how big BrokenBlade was, especially with the Kled game, but truly the entire series. The top lane matchup here, they are coming off of such good series for both of them.
I mean, that Kled game was just legendary. He had 15 kills against
actual
T1.
legacy game.
It's the most kills a top laner's ever had in the game at MSI. It ties the international record for kills in a game for a top laner. There's one of the best top lane games someone has ever had, and he could have had 16 kills, but decided to kill the Nexus instead. How insane is that?
Which I think you take it. He could be in sole possession of that record, but instead, happy to
might be a big Drake fight here.
The first time is Caps is setting up. Currently just set to be a 50-50, but LYON are stepping forward, threatening for more. W flash from Inspired a bit awkward. Finds the initial knockup onto SkewMond, but has zoned him enough away that they can get the uncontested smite. Shockwave onto only Isles. It's a bit of an awkward start for G2. Saint looking to find some impact with this arrow. Good sidestep from Caps. Uses the movement speed from the heal. But as much as we wanted a bloodbath, as much as that's what we heard happened in scrims, there's not a lot of blood or bathing happening on the Rift right now. Top lane at least giving us a little bit of action here as the Dominus is forced out.
Yeah, very necessary ult right there from Dhokla to get the extra health to survive the electrocute proc from BrokenBlade. on bottom side too, you know, Isles soaks up that the shockwave from Caps. He does not flinch. He does not flash out of it. He's like, yeah, I'm fine with just the heal. He soaks it, and then Berserker, after the shockwave is used, can go in and they push their way right back out after taking the dragon. So LYON, everything is still going according to plan. You know, they're trying to play off the bottom triangle, as we said, keep those dragons stacking, play towards their soul.
But I think the good news for LYON is oftentimes when you see topside objectives like the Grubs traded for Dragons, usually the topside objectives also come with a gold lead. But Berserker, 20 CS up over Hans, single-handedly ensuring that they not only have started to stack the Drakes on a Hextech Soul nonetheless, but they've also got this gold lead, which, while small, is significant because it's the difference of having this Trinity Force Ezreal, a very expensive first spike in the next fight, and not having it.
I mean, we look at the gold, not only does it line up with who we think the top performers on LYON are, it also lines up with what should be happening. Like, these are tough solo lane matchups that Dhokla and Saint are playing.
And look at the map right now. So they've got the extra teleport for LYON, so they're keeping the split push on bottom side while G2 are overloading top. And LYON have the choice. All right, are we just going to trade and keep Saint on bottom side? It looks like that's the call, and G2 will make the push for the first turret bonus. So
here's the question. We know that LYON likes generally slower games, but I also don't feel like this G2 composition loves to play fast. Like the Orianna, Jarvan, Anivia, and the death ball that we talked about in draft, they should also be comfortable in a slow pace of game.
And I think LYON really prefer, if Inspired's like, you know what, our approach to this fight has, you know, like a 5% chance lower success rate than like a normal fight.
Take the next fight.
Let's not do it. Yeah, it's like, you know what? Let's just keep on focusing bottom of the map. The dragons, the dragons, the dragons. And so they do trade, yes, first turret bonus for, you know, for G2, and they do increase that lead. BrokenBlade is the highest goal difference, of course, with his Anivia matchup. Very nice for him, of course, with the extra, you know, kill to his name. And we did say how BrokenBlade is coming into this match as the literal hero of Europe with their previous series. Usually it's Caps, and you're like, international Caps. But BrokenBlade, you know, really shining through. And in this game on the Anivia, he could be a menace.
Yeah, but it's not enough to have that gold advantage, right? We see this so often in top lane. 600, 700 gold. If you can't turn it into a greater advantage for the team, it might not matter much. And the Anivia is not the Kled. It can't single-handedly start fights. It needs that setup. It needs to have the team around oftentimes. So G2, a lot of pressure on them for the next Drake. 2 minutes before they're going to have to fight for that. 1 minute until the Herald spawns, and we'll see if that's the kind of fight that LYON are looking for.
Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting because G2's comp is very well set up to handle a lot of the melees on LYON, but LYON also have the Ezreal and Karma poke. So yes, the Ashe and Seraphine and Anivia are very, very difficult for like Xin, Sylas, and Renata to have a, you know, fun team fight in, but they also have some poke there with Berserker and Isles to try and work off beforehand. And if they can get a flank, it can be devastating. Saint here, if he steals away one of those big CC ults, but...
So on to Berserker, SkewMond, waiting in the side rush, hoping to just fight for the Scuttle Crab. 20 seconds again until the Herald spawns. LYON sizing up their options. The battle for mid-prio pretty even so far. Now, Caps has been sent bottom lane to respond to that wave pressure, but still has TP, so can join the fight if needed.
Very respectful from both teams, just trying to stack up these small advantages as SkewMond is on the way. Dhokla has flash and R.
Wall is there. Only going to get the slice. He's trying to have the dice. Now has to turn back with the Dominance, hoping to find BrokenBlade. Immediate TP in. TP response coming in from G2, but Dhokla just going to back away. We're set up for a 5v5 on the top side of the map. It's only 1-1, 15 minutes in. Will we finally see a fight? As G2 are a bit split. LYON have all 5 members together. Caps flash away from Inspired. Inspired locked up, but it's BrokenBlade isolated. Forced to flash as well. Ulti again from Labrov. Only going to hit one. Immediate Mikhail's going in. Labrov now in the midst of the entire team. They get a decent combo on the side of G2, but it's that SkewMond now caught in Saint, who steals away the Cataclysm, takes the double. He's just using G2's ultis better.
Saint goes in huge at the end of that fight. You could see Inspired calculated that he wanted that fight. He kept it going on the Xin, and it's a 2-for-1.
And it's about the team getting together, connected in the river first. Look at the early move from the bottom lane. The Ezreal Karma moving up first. So Dhokla creates the space. He flashes it on BrokenBlade to create the time for the arrival of the TP. And then here Inspired runs towards his bottom lane. So the chase from Caps and the rest of them get pincered.
And we knew Berserker and Isles were stronger, so they're the ones that actually joined this fight first. Hans and Labrov can't really become involved in this fight. And then when Inspired flies over the wall, he's really forcing this fight to happen, which keeps G2 engaged. And since Saint had the Cataclysm at the end, he can end it.
Yeah, I swear, it's just such a big difference of impact back from the bottom lanes with the Ashe arrow hitting nobody. Draco's going wide, and the Seraphine ult only connecting on one and immediately getting cleaned off. I mean, that was immediate reactions there from LYON, and from the rest of the team. They're going to pick up the dragon after that. It is a huge, huge fight. The domino effect for the rest of the game.
Sole point now for LYON with a gold lead, a good start. And I've got to say, I love the smile I see out of Saint. The big story going into this year for LYON was how were Saint and Inspired going to be as a duo. It's going better than anyone expected in their wildest dreams, and Saint is performing in this game.
Yeah, perfect territory for the fight for them too, with Sylas having that mobility in the scrap over the wall here. Nice little move from him. And Isles had the quick reaction with the Mikhails to cleanse off from Dhokla, the single hit on the Seraphine ult. So now we're already looking 5 minutes again in the future, chat. I feel like this game is the History Channel meme of dragons, because the dragon soul, a Hextech soul on Ezreal Karma is insane.
Here we go. Ashe arrow.
Still gonna get connect. SkewMond hit, initial knock up there, stun, CC fall. Finally, Labrov gets a good ult, but it doesn't matter because his jungler is already dead.
Getting massive value from the Sylas here, Kobe.
Yeah, he steals another great ult. He uses it to headshot SkewMond. The EQ in line with the trajectory of the Ashe arrow, and they find the kill anyway.
This game could definitely change off of one great shockwave or one great wall, but it is a little bit difficult for G2 to force fights, in part because of LYON's itemization here. Look at this. 3 pairs of Merc Treads on the top side of the map, and then also a Mikhails from the Karma. So their triple bruisers are very difficult to hold in place, and then you have a Cleanse Ezreal and a Mikhails support, a very elusive team that LYON's become here.
Very true, and of course the difficulty now is with LYON having 3 Drakes already. They're very likely to get first set up on the 4th Drake, and you can see the picture-perfect team fight for G2, but you can see the bad version. It's the version we saw before, when they're not grouped up, when they can't get all of those ultis together, hitting multiple members, whereas LYON, they can play from multiple angles. They want those little flanks. They want to split G2 up. They already did it once, and if they do it one more time, it means soul for them.
Dracos, the next team fight carries so much weight in this game.
Yes it does.
G2, can they get their dream set up? The previous fight is anything but that. They're split. The inside route for the Ezreal Karma means everything, and it was the perfect scenario for LYON to come out ahead. But, as you say, if G2 can utilize their vision-gaining tools to hawkshot and approach how they want to actually construct their team fight, I think it could be a completely different story, and me and Jack may end up crying.
I mean, it could happen. You never know how these games are going to end. I'd say the game plan going in, though, LYON had to survive the top lane early and not give G2 advantages. G2 didn't get the advantages from the mid and top, but LYON did get their advantage from their bottom lane. So in terms of, like, which bets paid off for them, LYON won the bot lane bet, and the Anivia on an 11 CS lead and the 1 gank kill, probably not the edge they wanted.
And really, LYON betting on themselves, giving up meta power picks like the Orianna to prioritize their 2v2 winning bot, and it has paid off. Again, the gold lead has shrank a bit. It was 1K earlier on, but we're coming into this next Drake. If anyone wants to go for early Baron, although I doubt that's going to happen, next Drake, 2-item power spike for the Ezreal. You've heard us talk about this for like a gajillion years of League of Legends, but in this game, this is the strongest point for Berserker. He already had one good fight, so as you highlighted, if G2 can get that perfect wombo combo setup, they have an edge in the fight. If they get this vision, if they can fight for it. But if not, it's easy to see how it could all fall apart.
It absolutely is. G2 has the item power spikes right now, though. 2 full items for BrokenBlade. Cap's just completing his 2nd item as well. So they are definitely stronger in terms of taking this vision. And LYON has to cede control, which is going to make it pretty difficult to get back. The strengths of these Ashe Seraphine comps when they were really in vogue was if they're first to a spot, it's really hard to walk in through the Seraphine poke and the Ashe volleys.
Yep. Saint going to collect the rest of the gold off the top side of the map, pushing while G2 get this setup that you're looking at on your screen right there around the dragon, and that is key. As we said, the setup for this fight, now that everybody is very, very, very close in power, pretty even. If Saint finishes 2nd item after getting the rest of the gold from top, which I assume he's doing right now, then there we go. We're going to be even Stevens basically going into this team fight. And it is a lot about the setup. So now, though, with the reset from G2, they just invested all these control wards, and looks very easy for LYON to move in and just clean them out, just like that.
Yeah, very nice of them, and Anivia had to go catch top. Pet peeve of mine, Saint always builds this item on Sylas, even when he's solo AP. He doesn't have the team benefit from Shred, but I had to point it out, I don't think it's optimal. It is a Saint special.
Good news for him is he gets a lot of other things from his team composition. Is now we're setting up for a trap in the jungle. Labrov, just barely getting away from the one becomes lightning.
So we've opted for G2 priority on bot side to enter, but the crocodile in the brush here, I mean, he's so far away, I don't know if that matters.
He could at least pressure someone if
wave.
G2 decides to engage. He doesn't really do anything if he's walking straight up, so Dhokla has to hold the flank.
Oh man, he's got a good flank though.
Battle Herald.
Oh, especially with SkewMond running away.
Where's it going to go? Saint ready to come over the wall. Dhokla ready to go from behind. The Seraphine being pinged out already. He's just taking it for a lap, baby. Lap 2, perhaps, the engage? Nope, gonna crash into the wall. Wall set up, though. Crystallize a lot of ranks there already, but they spot Dhokla on the side. They're trying to isolate him out of the fight instantaneously. Fighting back into the choke point on LYON side of the river. Arm flash from Labrov. Doesn't look like it's going to matter. Inspired living for far too long, but SkewMond manages to peel off Dhokla. 4v4, support down for top laner. BrokenBlade stepping up. The flip going in favor of SkewMond. Saint burning down. Just barely able to escape the defiance from Isles, keeping him standing. Berserker on the front lines, but Cap's the one to walk forward. The Orianna that they gave him, delivering kills for G2.
Absolutely clutch team fight by G2 and an even clutcher smite by SkewMond. If they give over the Hextech Soul there, they probably lose the fight on the back end, but they definitely win out there, Kobe.
G2 defend the critical moment of this game. What could be the turning point of the entire game right there. And Labrov with his dying breath, even with this huge flank from Renekton, he does get off his flash ulti, and it buys a tiny bit of time. Then they focus down the Renekton, they're able to turn the fight. Berserker really wanted to A Caps, and he eased forward in order to A Caps. That gives over an extra kill, Dracos, and your Death Ball comp just bought a lot more time to scale.
And it's looking nice. And I think a big part of that is the gold lead in top lane does actually end up mattering. Dhokla doesn't have a second item completed. If he has Sterix in that fight, it looks very different. The additional tenacity, that massive shield, this game really the tightest margins, the littlest differences. The R flash here. Dhokla does his best on the flank, but let's see how it plays out.
I can see Saint over on the left. He's a little late to enter this fight, but it's really about whether or not they get the one shot off. He lands a 3-man charm that buys crucial seconds. Then they're able to focus out Dhokla, and Inspired, the one criticism has been his smites. Let's watch this one, Kobe.
W here, and and then it's just a fair smite to be able to try and finish it with all the extra damage taking. And Berserker, as we said, he wanted to go for the egg, walked very aggressively towards Orianna's zone right there, and Caps punishes nicely.
Saint couldn't re-enter the fight. Inspired had no ultimate. Everyone had to retreat. Berserker needed to let that one go.
And of course, we did see the stolen Orianna ultimate immediately flashed away from it. Does mean that Hansama is also going to be down a flash in the next fight. We'll see how quickly these teams want to potentially contest a Baron, as it's 4 members on the top side from LYON.
And we had talked about Knight being undefeated on Orianna, Caps as well with a good record on Orianna right there.
Well, they did get his egg.
BrokenBlade. Egg already gone. Yeah. They're looking for a full breakfast here on the top side. Down goes the bird. Little fried chicken for LYON.
Let's see how aggressive they want to get here. They don't have an extremely fast Baron here, and Saint doesn't have a great ultimate yet, but LYON, if they start this, would likely look to turn to create a fight. Watch the Dhokla flank.
Dhokla on the flank, hoping to bait G2 in, knowing their man advantage should mean a net win, but again, the AoE ultis from G2. Count how many members they hit, and you will know the fate of the fight.
Their Baron is just so slow. This is so obviously a bait from them. Let's see if G2 is waiting for the fight.
Okay, Inspired is
Saint moving.
A little bit lower. Saint on the flank should have access to the Cataclysm if he wants it, but taking his time to pick an option. Does now grab it. Cap solo, zoning Dhokla. The Baron is very, very slow.
Yeah, they can't do
Berserker's
this.
health bar is also just getting chipped away. So G2 buying a lot of time very well, not overplaying into their hands, as now Dhokla's been caught out. Dominus on the side. LYON looking for a bit of re-engage onto SkewMond, hoping to split this fight. Instantaneous engage from Saint, but now Labrov, multi-man ultimate, Hansama already dead, but it might not matter because the ball is there. Just in time, pass to SkewMond, but LYON, they don't hesitate. Isles on the chase for SkewMond. Perhaps LYON can turn back to the Baron. It's a scrappy exchange. Caps is still there. Hexgate keeping SkewMond alive means there's no play left for LYON. They're forced to back away.
What an escape from SkewMond. He flashes to break the tether, then goes all the way around to the Hex Gate. Crazy fight. I need to shout out Caps though, because in the previous fight, he also zoned off the Sylas in the flank, and this time around, he found Dhokla for the flank. But here goes the big engage. Again, Seraphine ultimate over 2, but you got the immediate cleanse on the Berserker from Isles using the KLs. SkewMond deletes him though, going in and assisting with the shockwave.
And punishing the cooldowns from the last fight. LYON doesn't win big, but you can see why they're such respected team fighters. No egg on BrokenBlade at the start, no flash on Han Sama when Saint goes in to finish it. But I also want to shout out SkewMond's team fighting. He's been exceptional this game.
Certainly has, and making the nice escape there, using his flash to be able to get around back to the Hex Gate. Have to say, giving over the Orianna to Caps, you know, a lot of people flamed giving over the Orianna to Knight, but Caps, the little things that he did, again, counting and marking those flankers. The last time you saw him spacing Saint and Saint not being able to get good ult and being able to connect at the same time as Dhokla's flank was critical. And then this time being able to start it out as well through the lane. Also very nice for where they started it.
But 30 seconds until the next Drake. 3 full items for Berserker. He is at a massive power spike here, but G2 have the inside track to the river.
No flash quite yet. Won't have cleanse in the fight either, so needs to play flawlessly. The McHales will be up shortly as well, giving it a little bit more leeway to get aggressive, to get up in the faces of G2. But we've highlighted it so well. If you have to fight into this G2 composition, you see why this is a nightmare. Inspired, forced to pull the trigger, recognizing he has to go now. Ulti, isolating BrokenBlade, locked up by the Cataclysm, and it's a flank from Saint. Flashed away from the arrow, though. It's Han Sama and Caps retreating, pulling away. Dhokla into their back line, though. He's gone. The abduct, the follow-up is there. Caps isolated and alone, hoping to find the command attack, but he times it wrong. He doesn't have the space, so Saint survives. And in the meantime, Berserker is dishing out damage. G2 on the ropes. 3 members still standing, though. It's an extended fight. St. Lo has access to the healing, but he has to go in to get it, so instead, opting to recall. No TP available means G2 desperate to get the Drake in the meantime. Flag over the wall. Dhokla there. Command protect. The dissonance to back up the additional movement speed. Both sides blinking health bars.
Saint doesn't have teleport, but he does have Hex Gates to try and return to the fight if they keep the scramble going. What a scramble there. They found the engage onto Inspired, but he says full set now, and all of LYON attack to defend. It's pretty even for the setup.
And how long was that fight? Inspired died at the start. He's back, taking the gates out again. Who can remember the summoner spells? Hans, no flash. Labrov, no flash. Berserker, no summoners. Drake started again.
Seeker down for Saint as well. LYON are first to the play. Caps walking in, but he's exposing himself to vulnerability. Immediate control ward to spot out Isles, trying to keep them ready for
flip it.
Ult coming in from Saint, but there's no follow-up. He's going to try to solo make the play happen. SkewMond isolated in the pit, forced to get out. They just want the soul. Instantaneous turn. They have to get it. LYON can take the fight. They most certainly get the soul. And now they just send the bar G2. The Lions tearing them to pieces.
Sylas is crazy with it! He goes in, he makes the play onto Labrov, and LYON are gonna take the soul! They're gonna take the Baron as well!
Stacking advantages throughout the game. Peaking in game 1, Kobe. This is insane. This team fighting from LYON.
Oh my goodness, it was so close too. G2, constant fights back and forth, pushing them. The previous one was so even with just the 2 kills each. But this one critically means everything with the soul, with the Baron, with the map control. G2, they need to go into damage control now. They have to defend very safely your jungle income and at your towers.
I mean, this was crazy how much time Saint bought. He gets the charm onto Hans, but crucially pushes everyone on the fight to the left so that Dhokla Inspired can push SkewMond out of the pit and buy them time. And then the craziest thing is they still have the re-engage after it.
Incredible stuff coming in from the side of LYON. Again, the recognition to back away, realizing Saint has bought you the space you need to secure that objective uncontested, instantaneously turning on SkewMond to make sure there is no chance for a 50-50. Doesn't matter if Inspired's missed a few, if the enemy jungler cannot participate in trying to take that objective. A massive fight from Dhokla as well highlighted, Jat, and the damage numbers are only going up for the side of LYON now that they have the soul.
Yeah, the fact that Saint escaped back to the dragon afterwards too was crazy after that commitment in.
Yeah, because that was the ending fight, the beginning fight. Like Saint basically 1v2ing to kill Han Sama, getting out of that initial fight with like 10% health so he could base and take the Hex Gates out. It's all connected. I mean, look at the game this guy's been having. Lanes into Caps's undefeated in 2026 Orianna, stays close enough, finds the skirmishes, is currently sitting 5-0-4 in this game 1.
Really good understanding of his own strength, the power of the upgraded Merc Treads as well, buying him so much space. Remember, he didn't have Seekers in the previous fight. He didn't have the money, had to use it in the previous play, but now he does. Now he has the full Hourglass available to try to threaten G2, to try to split them up so they can't get that perfect Wombo combo that now, it used to be a little optional, now it is mandatory that these key ults connect on multiple members each and every single fight.
Yeah, G2 now, again, go into damage control. Try and farm safely, keep your income up, try and play off a grouped team fight of front to back here, and make some use out of these key ultimates. If Saint is gonna steal your Seraphine ult and then make the engage and make that much space before you're able to use your Ashe and your Seraphine and your Jarvan and your front line, then it completely defeats the purpose altogether.
Berserker just completes Endless Hunger as well, so 4 full items on this Ezreal. 313 CS, 10 CS per minute, 1,500 gold lead over Hansama, and the Hextech Soul Ezreal poke is just absurd. LYON, especially with the Karma and the 3 pairs of Merc Treads, I don't feel like they're going to go for a hard engage. They just need to bait and poke G2 and then take the fight if G2 brings it to them.
Exactly. It's the dream soul for this LYON composition. They rolled quite nicely on that one. And so they're going to do the 3-1-1 split push here. Just a slight variation and keep Saint on the bomb side with his teleport. Again, he's a level 16 Sylas with his Zhonya's huge playmaking potential even without his flash. I
mean, 1-3-1 or 3-1-1 is a little bit risky. A lot of teams, if you're up against an Ashe, you'd want a more 4-1, but they're getting away with it for now. Saint able to get the solo gold and pretty much the entire turret. And now you can see Inspired joining the other 4. I like this.
Additional gold, 4,000 gold advantage on top of the soul as G2 are forced back here. Shockwave onto Dhokla, hoping to get a pick, but instead they're kicking off a fight. Caps isolated, ulti from Labrov, good, but an immediate cleanse comes out from Berserker. Dhokla still able to walk away. Wind's becoming light, and SkewMond's in trouble. Just barely able to walk that one off. No true shot barrage there, but now it's Labrov getting sacrificed to the Lamb's LYON, going for the throat. Finding that single kill, still have pressure in the bottom lane. BrokenBlade trying again to make the difference. TP into the bottom lane as well, but it's going to cost them the inhibitor just to go for this play. Saint looking to find a way out. Healing there, extra 400. Caps forced to flash back. Saint, 2.5 seconds. Gets space for his team to get out in the other play. Wants to go in. Nice sidestep from Caps. Means 1,000 gold shutdown.
That is a huge shutdown for the hope of Europe. Caps Orianna does get paid for the loss of their inhibitor. And the only one they lost at that inhibitor was Labrov Seraphine.
Yeah. That's a really good play by G2 to be able to have the 1-for-1. I actually credit most of that to BrokenBlade for trading so aggressively on the 1-for-1 as they're losing the fight on the other side, because that 1,100 gold is going to be usable at this Elder fight. It's the window back into the game. They're with the Anivia, they can likely push that wave out far enough to give them an opportunity to 5v5 at the Elder.
SkewMond and Caps as a duo, this synergy when delivering shockwaves have been incredible with it in key moments. Let's see if they can fight their way out of a Hextech Soul, because even with that Hextech Soul at the last inhibitor, you saw them trying to chase them down, not able to just finish off a few of those kills.
Some fairly important cooldowns burned as well. No cleanse on Berserker, no flash on Inspired, although he does still sit on that GA. If Caps could somehow get to his death cap before that fight, it would be huge, but I don't know if he'll have the time.
But it goes both ways. No flash for Caps, no flash for Hansama. Caps having to respect even a low health Saint. Potential for him to re-engage, heal right back up with that W. So did flash in that previous play. G2 potentially going to be forced into approaching from this choke point. Now it's going to take a long time for LYON, even as strong as they are, to kill an Elder Dragon with this many stacks in terms of Drakes overall. Is now G2 ready for the 5v5.
Yeah, and LYON's objective damage is not that fast. If they get it low, they're at risk of a steal. So I think it's going to be this poke war, and I think it's very unlikely we get to a flip situation. Who can fight whom?
Engage on Berserker. Shift backwards, true shot barrage across the team. Ball hoping to match the flanker. Saint instantly from behind. Shockwave to pull in 2. Continuing to dash forward. Dismantling the back line of G2. And it's Big Dokes leading the charge. G2 wanted to contest the Elder, and now they're getting knocked out of the game.
Again, it's the Saint of North America. He finds the flank and he shockwaves both G2 carries.
Saint has played incredibly. LYON is going to push it in for a Game 1 win.
Caps is Orianna. We thought they might have doubted it, but he dismantled it. LYON better in the fights, better in the early game. G2 sent reeling in Game 1 as LYON strike the first blow in this best of 5 for the LCS and North America.